Hi, this is Keith with C&K Properties, Keller Williams Northwest. Today we're taking a look at previewing homes, and the first thing you want to do when you preview a home is you want to take a look at the outside, see if it's a house that you like. The other thing you want to do is check out the neighborhood, see if the neighborhood's the type of neighborhood you're curious of living in. You want to take a look and see if are there junk houses out there? Is there a lot of graffiti? Is the neighborhood got low esteem? And so you really want to be looking at the house in the neighborhood, because when it comes time for us to list your house, if the yard next door looks really cruddy, that's not going to be in our pictures, and any good agent should be able to do that. So come by, drive by the house first, check it out. Hi, this is Keith again. As you can see, we've changed neighborhoods. This neighborhood has a little bit higher pride of ownership in it. And so when you see a house online that you think is really interesting, you want to take a moment to drive by the house at your leisure to check out the neighborhood and see if it's a type of neighborhood that you would like to live in. So in this session, what we're going to talk about is you've had an opportunity to check out the neighborhood, you like the neighborhood, you like the neighbors, and so you want to take a closer look at the house. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to tour around the outside of the house, and we're going to show you some things to look for. When you first walk up to a house, the first thing you want to look at is the roof. I'm not a roofer, but roofs need to be nice and flat, nice and straight. And the shingle shouldn't have any moss on them. There shouldn't be a lot of turn up. They should be nice and flat, even be able to see a little bit of the sparklies on it. And so you want to look at the roof, because roofs are expensive things to replace. This roof is an example of a good roof. Okay, now you've had a chance to take a look at the roof. You've decided that the roof looks in pretty good condition, so let's get a little bit closer to the house now. When you come up to the house, you want to be looking at the condition of the paint. How does the paint look? Does it look like it's nice and smooth? Is it chipped? Is it worn out? This paint is in very good condition. The next thing you want to be looking at is down below. You want to be looking down low here to make sure there's no dry rot or any types of rot on the wood, because that could indicate some potential damage behind the siding that you can't see. When you're looking at the siding, you want to see if there's any nail holes that you can see. If you see the nail pot marks, and if they're sunken into the wood a little bit, that's not a good thing. That means the wood has swollen, so that means that water has gotten behind the paneling, so that there could be potential rot back there. So you want to have a nice smooth edge here. When you see the nail holes, you want them pretty smooth, not pot marked in. When you get over in the corners, you want to see and make sure there's a good seal. So, and where the wood comes together, where you have your crease, you don't want really thick gaps either. You're going to have some type of gap, but you don't want really wide gaps. The next thing you want to look at is what's called a soffit. That's the material up underneath the eaves. And you're looking to see, is the wood nice and clean? Are there any water stain marks? Because if there's water stain marks, that means that there's leakage and the roof may need to be replaced. So that's not a good thing. You want nice, clean, stain-free wood underneath. And again, you want to check for rot. Always check for rot, because that's not a good thing. While we're here, we also have the windows. You want to look at the windows. How well are the windows attached? Do you have big gaps here? Are they nice and smooth? Of course, are they broken? You don't want broken windows. And so this is a little bit about the windows. Here we are in the back of the house, and what we're at right now, we're standing on one of the decks. And when you look at a deck, you want to take a look at the condition of the wood, if it's wood. Ideally, in this day and age, if you can have the man-made material that some of the decks are made out of, they're really nice because they don't rot. And so if you do have wooden decks, you want to check and make sure that there's no rot. You want to check and make sure that they're nice and steady like this this deck here is nice and firm. There's no wiggle in this deck at all. The other thing you want to check is the support feet. You want to make sure that the support feet do not come in contact with the dirt, because what the dirt does, it promotes rot, and that will damage the stability of your deck, which is not a good thing. While we're here, notice that we have some trees around the house. Trees are a good thing if they're not too close. These trees are a pretty good distance from the house. When your trees start getting close to the house, you begin getting pine needles down under the roof. You get leaves down into the roof. They tend to begin filling up the gutters, and so if you have a situation like that, you need to make sure that you get up on your roof or use a ladder and clean those gutters out once a year. Otherwise, it's going to create serious problems for you. And again, the way that you check that is you look underneath the house, underneath the gutters, and you're checking for if there's any rot or if there's sign of leakage or discoloration that really doesn't belong there. In this section, we are on the interior of the house, and we're going to take a look at some of the highlights, some of the things that you should be taking a look at when you check out a house on the inside. One of the first things you need to do is when you walk into a house is you need to do a smell test, because you want to see does you smell mold, you smell animals, things of that nature. Does it smell okay to you? So that's the first thing you want to do, is the smell test. After you do the smell test, one of the first places you may want to check out is the kitchen, where we are right now. You want to take a look at the appliances. What kind of condition are the appliances in? Are all the appliances here? That could be an advantage, could be a disadvantage for you. You want to check out the different the faucets, the waterworks, things of that nature. A real important thing for you to do is to open up underneath the cabinets, look underneath the cabinets and on the floor of the cabinet, because what you want to see is a nice dry floor. You don't want any types of stains, you don't want any warping down there, because that tells you that the faucets and the waterworks have leaked. Not a good thing. You want to turn on the oven. If the oven's here, you want to turn it on and see if it's working. You want to maybe turn on the dishwasher if it's there. You want to for sure run the water and turn on the garbage disposal to see what kind of conditions that is in. After you get done checking with that, you want to look at the floor. How good a condition is the floor? Is the carpet in good condition? Does the carpet need to be replaced? Carpet can be replaced, so you don't need to, that's not a really major big deal. But then you want to take a look at the ceiling. Are there cracks in the ceiling? Is there staining in the ceiling, which may indicate water problems? Water damage could be extensive. There could be a lot of hidden issues with water damage. So you want to be on the lookout for that. And the way you look at that is the ceilings are not nice and smooth. You might see some bubbling. You might see some stainage. Those are all indicators of water leakage. When you're in the bathroom, a few things that you want to check on. Again, you want to take a look at the sink area, and again, you want to check underneath the sink. Check out the flooring underneath here to make sure there's no stains or warping, something that would indicate that there is leakage, and because leakage is not a good thing. So you want to be sure to check that out. After you get done checking that out, it looks okay. You want to look at the shower. You want to look around the edges of the shower, see if there's any leakage in the shower. Take a look at the fittings that the shower comes out of. You want to see and make sure that they're not really rotted and that they're in good condition. You want to look around the edge of the tub as well, because what you're looking for is there caulk mixing? Mostly you're looking for rot. Again, you're looking for rot, and because rot is not a good thing. Okay, when you're in the bathroom and you're checking out around the tub, what you want to do is you want to check where the tub and the flooring come together. You want to make sure that there's not a lot of curling in there. And then with your feet, you want to push down on the flooring to make sure there's no rot down in there. So it should be nice and solid like this one. Then, When you're done with that, then you want to take a look at the tub itself, where the tub meets the siding. Again, you're looking for nice caulking. You're checking to see is there any sign of rot, because you don't want rot. Rot's not a good thing. If you have rot back in there, it could be back behind, creating a lot of damage. After you look at that, the next thing is to take a look at the fittings. How do the fittings look? Do they look well maintained? Do they look fairly new? Do they look taken care of? Do they look like they're going to work really well for you? After you're done taking a look at the shower, you want to check out the toilet. You want to make sure that the toilet is nice and solid. There should not be any movement around there. Again, the floor should be nice and solid. So to check the toilet area, what you do is you put your feet alongside of it and press down on the wood. This is nice and solid. And then the next thing you do is what I call the toilet shake, where you just kind of put your feet on each side of it and just try and wiggle it a little bit. Now the only thing on this one that's moving is the lid, and that's fine. The main toilet is nice and solid. If it's not solid, that means that you could have some rot back in there, that it's not sealed well, because there's a wax ring that connects the toilet to the plumbing. And if that ring is no good, then the liquids gets out and begins to rot the underside, the wood. That's not good. Right here, this is the electrical panel. Almost all the time in a house, the electrical panel is going to be outside in the garage. The electrical panel you should have clear access to it. Inside, you have different circuits. Each one of these is a circuit breaker that controls some part of the electricity inside the house. This particular house is a nice one to show, because right here, this is this type of setup that's used when you have an area to set up a generator. So if you happen to lose power, you can set up a generator outside. You don't want to put it in the garage. That's a dangerous thing because of the carbon monoxide. You set it up in the garage, you plug the plug in here, and then you can control which parts of the house you send electricity to. This is the electrical panel. Okay, the final thing that you want to look at is the heating unit and the hot water heater. Typically, you'll find these two items in the garage, but not all the time. Sometimes they're in other parts of the house. This is a hot water heater, and this happens to be an electric hot water heater. You can tell that because you've got a really big cord coming in from the top. If it was heated with natural gas, you would have piping coming in, and you'd have some piping down here and some control panels down in this area. This is your furnace. Typically the furnaces are in the garage as well. Sometimes you'll find those in other parts of the house. They could be in a closet. Sometimes they're in the attic. This one is electric, and again you can tell because you have this really big power cord going into it. If it was gas, you would have pipes running in about this level. You'd have a control area, and so that would be a gas. Your furnaces, you need to be changing your filters twice a year. Most people like to change theirs at the first of the year and then the middle of the year, say the 4th of July. So you want to keep those up. And so these are the two main units. Hi, this is Keith Foote with C&K Properties, Keller Williams Northwest. Thanks for taking time to view our training videos on how to preview a home. I hope you found it enjoyable and entertaining along with informative. There should be a link on this video that you can click to get your free, with no obligation, list of all the items that we covered, so that you can take that with you when you start looking for your own home. Please take a moment and like our channel, subscribe to our channel, and so that you can enjoy some of the other educational types of videos that we have.